Hey everyone, Cheoff Geoff here. Welcome to my kitchen. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by, and don't forget to hit the old subscribe button, comment, like, share. Alright, so if you want to think like a chef, you know, sometimes you just gotta experiment and hope for the best. And so what we're gonna do today, at the end of this video, I'm gonna try something I've never really done it before. Not sure if it's gonna work out, but let's try it and see what happens. And the worst case scenario is didn't work out. But with all that in mind, today we are making ramen. Just beautiful, delicious, smelling good, great ramen. And with this, we're gonna be making a crunchy, roasted tofu that's gonna go with it as well. So let's just get started. So what I've got here is some extra firm tofu. It's organic tofu. I've got some of it cut up, but I'll show you guys how to cut it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this thing right down the center. And you just want, you know, kind of 1 inch, kind of finger thickness cuts, and we're just doing just cubes. All right, falling apart here. I may have too much cut here. We'll see what happens. So in this bowl, I've got 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. I've got some salt and pepper. That is celery salt. That's garlic salt, a little bit of chili, and a touch of nutmeg. We're gonna throw all these in and mix it up, and we're gonna add just a touch of some soy and, oh, it's already making a mess. Good stuff. There we go, look at that. So we got some soy. This is about 2 tablespoons of soy and just a touch of, get my dirty hand out of there, touch of vegetable oil. And you really want to just make sure everything is coated and so forth. So when you're working with tofu, it can be pretty bland. And so what we're trying to do here is build a little bit of texture and get a little bit more extra flavor in there. And by roasting it, you're gonna get that nice crunchy flavor, and it's gonna go really well with the ramen broth that we're gonna make in just a moment. So I've got my my oven set at 425 degrees. We're gonna roast these off for about 20 minutes. And what you want to make sure you just got this all, you don't want them sitting on top of each other, you just want it nice and flat. We're gonna throw this baby in the oven. Okay, so we've got our crunchy, crispy tofu kind of roasting away. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna build our miso ramen broth. So what I've got here is a little bit of, sesame oil, some fine chopped white onion, some garlic, that's about 2 cloves, and a big knob of ginger. We're just gonna add a little salt and pepper. You always start with salt and pepper, you begin with that seasoning and you end with seasoning. So when you're making this kind of miso broth, use what you have on hand. I mean, there's some key components that you need to have, and really the key thing is your miso paste. And other than that, you don't need to use your sesame oil. You can use vegetable oil, olive oil, or whatever it is. But what we're going to try to do here is build a little bit of texture and a little bit of that umami flavor that you're going to get from the soybean. So what I got in here, I'm ready to go. We're starting to get a real good fragrance from this already, and I've got a little bit of Sapporo in my hand here, and so some is going to be for the chef, and some is going to be for my broth. So I'm gonna have a little sip, and then I'm gonna deglaze because this is just what I do, and it's really the best way to cook. Delicious. There we go, and I have this on about medium to high heat. These are just simmering. I'm gonna let that break down a little bit. When you're working with fermented food, stuff like whether that's kimchi or your fermented soybeans and so forth, that fermentation process produces bacteria that is really good for the gut. And you know, I got a big gut, so the more I use it, the better. And what this does, the fermentation process produces all those probiotics that is just so good for your intestines and for moving and so forth and all that. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add in my soybean paste. And it's really, really stuck in there. So there we go, perfect. Okay. So that soybean is going to give you that umami flavor, and what that is a basically that savory flavor that you're going to get from this Asian style cuisine. So usually you want to have something to give it heat. And that usually will be some kind of chili paste, whether that is sambal oelek or something like that. So what I have is actually left over from my other Thai curry recipe is a little bit of Thai curry paste. So you got to use what you got, right? So what I'm trying to do here is work all this together and once I start the oils coming through and it becomes really fragrant, we're going to keep adding our ingredients. But it's, oh boy, the smell of this is just fantastic already. And I got to tell you, I know there's going to be some purists when they see this guy throwing in Thai chili paste in with his ramen miso, and they're, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people going, "What this guy doing?" But you know what? You got to roll with what you have on hand. Great. Now we've got this thing. We're really starting to build out that fragrance and the flavor. We're starting to get the oils come out of all our pastes, and at this point, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of mirin, which is sweetened sake. So 1 and 2, perfect. Some soy sauce, about 2 tablespoons. There we go. And about 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. Right. At this point, we're just going to kind of take that moment and whisk this all together so it all becomes really nicely incorporated. And I got to tell you, we really need, YouTube has to create smell-o-vision, guys, because this just smells spectacular already. You get that little bit of heat from the chili, and you're getting that fermented soybean smell. And man, oh man, does it smell good. All right. Yeah, smell that. Oh, it's great. Okay. Now this is a completely vegetarian dish that we're making. I've got I got a liter of veg stock in here. If you don't have veg stock, use chicken stock. You can use water. I'm going to actually add just a touch more water to this as well. Perfect. I'm going to spend just a moment here and whisk it all together. Perfect. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to let this thing come to a boil. We're going to let it simmer for a good 10-15 minutes. We're going to give it a little taste and make sure seasoning is good to go. And we'll be back in a couple of minutes. It's starting to smell great in here, guys. So over here, I've got my miso ramen broth just simmering away. It takes about 20 minutes. So I've got everything in there and it's been brought to a boil and it's just simmering away. So while this is all going on, I'm going to show you guys some of the cut sizes and how we prepare the vegetables. So with ramen, you want all your vegetables to be crunchy when you serve it out. So we're not blanching anything, we're not cooking anything. We're just going to cut it nice and thin so we can add it right at the end. So I just got a little bit of a yellow pepper here, de-seeded, ready to go. I don't need it fine chopped or anything like that. There we go. And we're just going to add this to our plate of all kinds of goodies here. What I also have is one carrot. If you can cut it as thin as possible, you can probably shave it on a mandolin as well. Just nice little thin pieces. There we go. Gonna add this guy right there. A little bit more pepper as well. It's just nice to have a good color combination of things here. Red pepper de-seeded. We're gonna cut through the inside. And again, you don't want to blanch these. You just want them nice and crispy and crunchy for when you add your broth. The broth will basically blanch them and heat them and partially cook them. All right, we got green pepper. So we got red pepper. We got yellow pepper, and we got 1 chili pepper here as well. And this is going to add a nice little bit of heat. Cut nice and thin. It's probably enough. That. And what I've got here is baby bok choy. And I'm just cutting it in quarters. That's it. I love the cross-section, the way this thing looks when it's cut. It's just a really beautiful vegetable. And you don't need to blanch it or anything like that. This is a small baby piece. We're just going to leave them out like that. There we go. All right, so last but not least is we got some scallions, and these will be added on right at the end. We're going to cut these really classic Asian style. So cut that off, and we're going to cut really long cuts. Keep your knife angled on a 45-degree angle, and you get that really nice cross-section of the onion. Okay guys, I'm not sure what's going to happen here. At the beginning of the video, I was talking about you got to try to experiment. So for me, usually when you serve ramen, it's with a soft-boiled egg. Today, I'm going to try poaching my egg in the ramen broth. So I don't know if it's going to work. I have no idea. I'm going to add a touch of apple cider vinegar to this. That'll help in the poaching process, if you remember from my Eggs Benny video. So this is on a nice little rolling boil. I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is something that may or may not work. Let's just see. We got one in there, and we'll throw in another one and see how it works. And it's really kind of hard to tell. So for now, we got about 60 seconds, and they seem to be holding together. We'll find out what happens in a couple of minutes. I don't know. Okay, still kind of nervous with this guy, but let's just build our plate together. So we've got our crispy, crunchy tofu, and part of the reason I didn't, you can just pan fry this if you want, but you're gonna get a lot more texture from the roasting side of things. So we're just gonna keep. I've got my ramen noodles ready to go in here. These ramen noodles have just been cooked for about 2 minutes in boiling water. I got it strained and ready to go. We're gonna throw in our baby bok choy. We got some carrots in there. Got our peppers and a little bit of the chili. Oh boy, okay. This is kind of the moment of truth, you guys. So I've got I don't know, we'll see how this turned out. So I've got kind of a poached egg in here. Yeah, neat. Okay, this sort of worked. I don't know. So we're gonna lay our poached egg right down there. Get in there, there we are. And at this point, we're just gonna start spooning our broth all over our mixture. All right. And guys, this smells just amazing. And what a colorful, really nice looking bowl we got here too, right? Like, so all this liquid is gonna help cook all those raw vegetables. And oh, it smells so great. Okay, all right, so we're gonna finish this with a little bit of green onions right on top there. There we go. So this is the moment of truth. Now, did I or did I not get a soft poached egg? So let's see here. It worked! All right, look at that. I'm honestly just as surprised as everybody else. Okay. Well, guys, we got a ramen bowl with crispy, crunchy tofu with a poached egg that basically worked out. So I'm pretty happy about this. So from my kitchen to yours, cheers.